down in Florida. Now, he's more of a hide-and-seek type runner. Uses that explosiveness when he gets outside. Then he puts a little dipsy-doodle on you and goes inside. He's got that kind of quickness. Now, let's take a look at his brother, Emery. He's a big banger. Guy's over 6 feet tall. He's 240 pounds. Watch this. He'll use that little move, too, but then he'll just bang you and bowl you over. Big, strong guy. Of course, the 39-yard run just set up that field goal, and those are the stats for the day. 5 carries, 42 yards, an average of over 8 yards every time he touches it.
Rather run over you than around you. And having a good day for the Tigers today, who are only trailing 21-10 at this point. Tommy West got to be happy about still being in this one with 6:25 left in the third.
Yeah, I bet he wants to get that ball to Smithman, too. Unlike his brother, Emmett, who's a hide-and-seek guy. He's just a seek guy. He looks for seeks you out and tries to run you over.
Hard to hide when you're that big. Jermaine Green back deep, waiting the kickoff.
Okay, let's go.
Jeff Sabe. His own 10. Straight ahead, he's got a seam out to the 37, and we've seen a number of good kickoff returns today. On Monday, he had to take ID last week.
Sure did. That's Mike Bayes.
55 points that he does push-ups every time they score. Here's Wayne Messam with the catch out to the 48-yard line and near a first down. So Cannell hooks up with Messam. As you look at very hot, I'm sure, Wayne Bayes, the Tiger.
You mentioned he does those push-ups after every score. Last week he did 279 of them. Can you imagine if that had been Florida State? Florida State, he would think that would do 500.
That'd be his last day as the Tiger. It would have been mine. Warrick Dunn with a lot of room to the outside, trying to break it. Out of bounds at the 13-yard line. You give him a little bit of room, and he's going to take a lot. Lamont Evans finally knocked him out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
Boy, he's special. I'll tell you why. He'll use every block. He's never in a hurry. See, he took that first step to read. He sees the hole. Now he looks for daylight and gets his wide receivers involved in the game. Now, you know, the big thing is once he steps out of bounds, the guys are still coming. Look, he's not going to go down. He's an impressive runner.
41-yard gain by Warrick Dunn. And, you know, you think you're containing him for a while, and all of a sudden he busts one at 41 yards.
There's a guy that's been through a lot of adversity in his life, too.
First and 10 at the 12, and there's E.G. Green on his feet trying to get to the end zone. Touchdown, Florida State. They hit you in a hurry. Then Clemson puts 3 on the board with the field goal. With Florida State with their lightning offense, it does not take long.
Well, they had the big return, put them up near midfield. And the big play by Dunn, and bingo, there's the extra point, 28 points.
Bentley puts another one on the board, and it is 28-10, Florida State in control here. Back, and he watches it sail out of the end zone. So it'll be first and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Tigers, and some extracurriculars here as flags fly.
It's going to be a personal foul against Florida State, I believe. They may call offsetting. Well, there's no reason for that.
Tigers not happy right now leaving the field, so. Middle of your screen, you see, yeah, exactly.
2 guys going after it late. Number 40's Chris McAnally comes up and throws the forearm shiver. Okay, there it is against Florida State, and that's going to be it. That's because he came up and actually what looked like a punch. McAnally threw a forearm shiver,
which is also illegal in this game.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's just like a punch. It's the same effect when they hit you upside the head.
Same effect as the flag coming out.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the kicking team, 15 yards, first down.
And, you know, that's what Bobby Bowden's talking about. Keep an eye on number 40 here. Here he comes right here. He'll get up and what? Boom! Right there, that's 15 yards, and that's what Bobby Bowden says. We're making too many mental mistakes. That's a mental error, and that'll frustrate Bobby Bowden.
And the play is over at that point, too. I mean, there was no play. Effectively, the ball sailed out of the end zone. So Clemson takes over at its own 35 now. Green to throw. Got a man. Near the first down marker. A gain of about 9. And so a good first down place. Marcus Hinton on the reception. And Troy Saunders, a redshirt freshman, on the tackle.
Terry, this is a critical time of the ballgame for that guy right there, Nealon Green. 5.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. It's 28-10. You've got to make something happen on this offensive series. You've got to get some points on the board. Preferably a touchdown, because they're falling farther and farther behind. You can't trade field goal for touchdown and be effective.
Green now 7 of 16 for 51 yards. 2nd and 1. He's going to throw again. He's got a man wide open. Tony Horn to the end zone, and Clemson back on the board. Tim, you could see it develop. The play action on 2nd and short yardage, and Horn wide open down the field.
And Jermaine Green, just a sophomore, was playing corner on that side. They gave him a little stop-go bingo. Horn just blew by him. And the ball, and give Green a lot of credit for this, he didn't try to hit him in stride. Just wanted to make sure, since he was so wide open, just put it out there where he could make that catch.
There's a flag after the play.
Sportsmanlike conduct on the offense. 15 yards penalized on the kickoff.
You know what that is?
Survey on for the extra point. And that is up, and it is good. Well, I mean, it is all up to the officials. And common sense more important today than any other time in college football. When to call a celebration penalty and when not to.
This is the longest pass play, and Green lays it out, slows him up, and makes sure Horn can make the catch. After that, Green's got to play catch-up. Boy, that's a nice play. Now, here it comes. All right, so he's excited. His teammates are excited. He stops, says, hey, guys, great, we're back in this thing. Everybody comes and celebrates with him.
I got to tell you what. I'm not so sure.
No, but watch Green. This is nicely done. Nealon Green, boom, just lay it up there. Jermaine is already beaten, and Horn blows by Green. Boom. Green beats Green, and Horn takes advantage. Nealon Green beats Jermaine Green, and Tony Horn scores the touchdown.
Tim, I have to tell you, if that's what it was called on, though, the celebration,
well, there's no foul. It was more than that. You let that roll, you see about 15 guys jump on top. That's almost a delay of game. That's what they're calling about the celebration in the end zone.
If that's the case, that's fine. But I like the rule. I think it's a good rule. I don't like football players taking their helmets off and whatnot, but you have to use common sense today.
But they haven't felt that penalty yet. They'll feel it right now in the kickoff, because they'll be kicking off from their own 20, which means Florida State's going to come back and get great field position.
And that's why you hear the boos now from the crowd of 82,000.
Look where they're kicking off from. I mean, Florida State's already in here. They're going to have great field position.
Survey will kick off at his own 20 as Clemson has gotten back in this one, 28-17 with 5:21 left in the third.
You know, when you're a 3-touchdown underdog and you score and get back in the ball game, you should be able to celebrate.
I agree with you. Green and Preston back deep, although not that deep, at their own 20. And here's Preston at his 25. Across the 40. And at the 45-yard line, the kicking game has hurt Clemson all day long. Take a moment, go down to the field. John Spagnola has a special guest. John?
Thank you, Terry. And with Norm Thagard, an astronaut who has spent more time in space than any other American, recently linked up with the Russians. And you addressed the Seminole football team last night for Bobby Bowden. What did you tell them?
What I told them, John, was this game only lasts 3 or 4 hours, but the impact of it they'll live with for the rest of their lives.
Terry, call this play, and I'd like to come back and ask one more question.
All right, John, the crowd may be allowing me to call this play. I'm not sure. They're on their feet here at Death Valley.
Let's just listen and watch. Boy, they're not quiet, don't they?
You're not going to bring him down with one arm. And Warrick Dunn trying to get the Tallahassee faithful up on their feet. And they're here in full force. Let's go back down to Spags.
Norm, compare if you will. You sat atop a launch pad. That's pretty intimidating. Now you're on the Clemson sidelines with me. What's more intimidating?
No question about it being on the Clemson sidelines. Just look at the size of these guys.
He can't wait to get back to Bobby Bowden, guys. Thanks a lot, Norm. Best of luck to you.
Well, no wonder, John. Out of the shotgun again for Cannell. Here's Warrick Dunn with a lot of room. Down to the 10-yard line. And no reason to do anything but to give it to Warrick Dunn right now. Right now we're going to give it to John Saunders in New York for a moment. John?
Texas Tech, as you know, has the lead over Penn State, partly because of Nittany Lion fumbles. Well, Byron Hanspard here does likewise. Coughs it up. Terry Killens recovers it, and on the next play, John Whitman, his second touchdown of the game. The Lions are coming back, 2014.
All right, John, and Clemson perhaps coming back a little bit here, but Florida State knocking on the door. Warrick Dunn with 120 yards on the day now. Here he is again. But down at the line of scrimmage, Sue is in there, McCrory in there, and a host of Clemson tacklers.
You know, not to take anything away from Florida State offensively or specifically Dunn, but it's that penalty, that celebration penalty, that really put Clemson in a hole here and set this whole thing up.
Well, they started at their own 45-yard line, and that's after the kick from the 20, and good numbers once again for Warrick Dunn.
2 weeks in a row, he's gone over 100 yards. Certainly one of the Heisman Trophy candidates.
Did it last week in the first half. There's his counterpart, the fake to Rock Preston. Cannell to throw. Out of the end zone, he threw that one away. And he was under pressure.
You know, I'll tell you something. When you've got a guy open, you've got to go to him. He breaks, makes a good break, but I'll tell you what, McLean stays with him and then reacts to the slide. Once the quarterback breaks the pocket, guys are sliding with their guys, so Antoine Edwards wasn't as open as perhaps he looked.
And Brett Williams with a lot of pressure on Danny Cannell. He couldn't stand, plant, and throw. Cannell changing the play now at the line on 3rd and 10, just outside the 10. Over the middle and through the hands of Wayne Messam. The coverage by Andy Ford, number 43. He was there. That pass just through Messam's hands.
Messam looks surprised. He's got great size for a receiver with excellent speed. 6'4", 210, but that one looked like it surprised him.
Florida State really having a tough time on 3rd down today. 0 for 7 on 3rd down. Bentley on for a 28-yard field goal attempt.
Keep in mind, Bentley had 2 extra points blocked last week.
But this one is good. He missed 2 within the 35 last year against Clemson, but having a good day today. So 3 more on the board for Florida State. And it's 31-17 with just under 3.5 minutes left in the 3rd. That's CFA College Football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Burger King, where you can get it throughout. Today, 82,000 strong, a lot on the bank.
This entire conference, Terry, football, we mentioned the national championships for Florida State, Maryland, Clemson has one, Georgia Tech, obviously. Basketball, I think, is the top conference in the country. And, of course, you and I have an opportunity to do a lot of ACC basketball games. And without a doubt, this is a conference that really has to be proud of its product.
Well, I think so. You know, I played in this league.
As I did.
At Little John, I played with the round ball. You played with the oblong ball. And I think you're right. And, of course, ABC doing quite a bit with the ACC as well. Basketball season, we will be all over college basketball and ACC basketball this season.
Well, the difference between you and me and the ACC is you got one of those national championships.
Many moons ago, Clemson will bring it out to the 20, and we will bring it down to John Spagnola for a moment. John?
Terry, Scott Bentley hit that 28-yard field goal. He had to feel good about that. You know, it was last year against Clemson that he got pulled in favor of Dan Mowry for the rest of the season. He missed 2 field goals against Clemson, a 32 and a 28-yarder, and he had some problems with some extra points. So Scott Bentley is having a good season in kicking field goals so far this year.
All right, John, last week, he struggled with the extra points. couple of point athletes blocked, but so far enjoying a good day today, too. First down at their own 20. Here's the pitch to Pegues, trying to get outside, and actually that's Priester ahead for maybe 3 yards. Almost wrapped up in the backfield, but he made a positive thing out of it. Roman Green on the tackle.
Florida State just comes in waves. You know that? They have 2-3 guys that come after you defensively until everybody else comes in pursuit.
Well, I think those were the two big adjustments that ACC teams had to make, and maybe still have to make, is that, number one, the speed of Florida State, and two, the depth. I mean, they just wear people out. Green to throw, it's tipped up and picked off. Picked off by Todd Reboll, and now they want to talk about it. The second time that a Green pass has been tipped up in the air. The first one was picked off, and so is this one.
I think that's a good call, but the crowd's going ballistic. They thought it hit the ground, that he trapped it. Now they're saying, hold on, it was trapped. They're going to reconference, and Clemson's offense is coming back on the field.
Hold on here. A whole lot of talking going on, but we're not sure what it's about.
Offside on the defense, 5 yards, still second down.
Break for Clemson. Woo. So it's a moot point whether it hit the ground or not. Looked like a good interception, though.
And most of the breaks have gone the other way today. So Nealon Green will get another chance to try to move the ball up the field. The waiting moments of the third quarter. Bobby a little bit upset about that on the sideline. 2nd and 3. Here is Emory. And he has the first down. You're not going to stop him with one man.
Boy, how about that turnaround? Instead of first down Florida State, first down Clemson. Still 2.5 to play here in the third quarter.
Well, if it goes the other way, you may close the book on it at that point because it's 31-17. You know, they only have about 30 yards to go ahead and push one in. Now, it's still Clemson ball. They're still very much in this thing.
How about the Maryland Terrapins leading North Carolina lead?
You bring that one up. Here's Priester ahead to the 35. Oh, he's a tough runner. Bernard Wilson, number 55, stopped him there.
You know, we were talking about the conference and Florida State coming in. There are those that believe that Florida State's just not right for this conference because they're dominating in football. But the bottom line here is this conference was good not only for Florida State, but was good for the ACC. I mean, academically, it helps across the board because the ACC has tremendous academic standards. Football-wise, I think everybody else, their recruiting will improve because Florida State is in their conference. And in basketball, it helps Florida State.
It certainly helps them in basketball, and I happen to believe, that it helps the conference as well. Because eventually, there's no doubt the conference will get to a certain level. And here's Emory Smith. Inside the 30. Looking to go outside. To the 15-yard line. Smith with another long run. Marlon Green, the free safety, ran him down, but not before Emory Smith runs 49 yards.
He's alone, stopped it right there. They're in a 46 scheme. There's only one linebacker. Once he gets by the linebacker, look at this. Open territory any way he wants to go. All right, roll it. Then he uses that speed and gets down and then uses the power to pull two guys over and put them inside the 20 to the 16-yard line. But that's a great play. Got by the one linebacker and just broke it.
Well, usually, if a Florida State linebacker's got you one-on-one, we saw it earlier. Sam Collard wrapping up Priester one-on-one in the open field, but that time Smith just bounced right off.
Here's another situation where Clemson used the whole field.
There's Green. Hands it off to Priester, and down he goes at the 20-yard line. Henry Crockett, how quick was that?
Boy, you beat him on a big play, and they just jam it right back at you.
I mean, he was in the backfield before he even saw the handoff.
I think he knew the play. Well, you know, Florida State's defense has kept the Seminoles in contention for the national championship year in and year out. And don't let anybody kid you. It's the defense that wins championships. And at Florida State, once they realize that, year in and year out now, they've got NFL quality guys back there. #1 draft picks just waiting to happen.
4 receivers in on 2nd and 13. Green to run up the middle. No, he won't. Maybe gets ahead for the yard, and we have seen that a number of times. So has Florida State. Andre Wadsworth tripped him up right at the line of scrimmage.
Wadsworth had shoulder surgery in the offseason. He was a pleasant surprise last year, but now he's a star. That's great discipline right there to stay at home. He's the guy in the middle, the nose guard. He read the quarterback and made the play. That's big time.
And Clemson had gained some yardage on the same play a couple of times earlier in the game. So winning seconds of the third quarter, and that closes out here at Death Valley, 31-17. We're back for more. A good one coming up next here on ABC. A lot of football left here. As Clemson on their 7th play of this drive with 3rd and 13, a big play. And here's Raymond Priester looking for room and upended at the 12-yard line.
Well, that's a huge play by Capers. Capers came and made that tackle. Priester had his eyes set on the chains. They come up about 6 yards short because Capers made a one-on-one tackle and just upended it. That's big time.
He's had a big day today, too.
Sure has.
Tested early and big plays in the first quarter. A big stop here. So 4th and 5 at the 11 on his survey. 28-yard attempt. And it's good. So Clemson with 3 more on the board, and they pull to within 9. It's 31-20, and Tim, they just keep hanging around, and Florida State not used to this in the ACC.
Well, I tell you, with 14-20 left and only 11 points down, it should be an interesting final here at Clemson, because these guys aren't backing off. I mean, they're still playing with a lot of confidence. They're moving the ball effectively offensively. Defensively, obviously, they got to make a couple of stops, and they haven't been able to do that when it was critical.
Preston, and it will be Green 5 yards deep. They'll keep it right there.
I can't believe he didn't take a knee. That was unbelievable. And the official's telling him now, son, you have to take a knee for that thing to be dead. That was incredible.
Marlon Green.
They should have tackled him back there for a safety.
Yeah, Jermaine Green, and you're right. He never went to the knee. He just stood there, and you know, the Clemson pursuit coming down, and finally he went to the knee.
Yeah, I guarantee you the coaches will go up and talk to him, the special team coaches. Watch this now. Here he is. So you figure, all right, now they're telling him, just stay there, take a knee. He actually came out of the end. No, that's the letter. But he didn't take a knee, and the first guy went by him. Had he made that tackle, that's a safety.
As it is, it comes out to the 20.
I thought for a minute he stepped out of the end zone.
Looking over the defense out of the shotgun. Over the middle, and he throws it right into the ground. Andre Cooper, the intended receiver. Let's get an update from New York and John Saunders. John?
From 3 yards out, Penn State now leads at 21-20.
John, how about that call? Tim, they go to the pass on 4th and go at the 1. Cannell now under center, and they move the backs to the I. 2nd and 10. Under pressure. Tucks it, runs, and close to the first down. He takes a pop right at the 30. But a fine one by Cannell. Dawkins was there to stop him.
Got the first down, too. Well, you want the story of this game. It's down at the time of possession. Look at this. Clemson, 29 minutes and 40 seconds. They have dominated the time of possession. It's a little bit surprising. That could be the most misleading statistic in the game of football. These are also big in here. These turnovers, both teams have suffered and cost them.
272 yards on the ground for the Tigers today. Damian Harrell, he's got the catch in the first down. Across the 40 to the 45-yard line, a 14-yard gain.
You want a great stat on that? You mentioned 278 yards on the ground. When Clemson goes over 250 yards or more in a game, they're 78-4-1.
We'll see if it applies today.
Great speed, quick out. Just use that leverage inside out. These guys separate from defenders as well as anybody I've seen in football on the college level.
Under pressure again, and he gets away. On the run, did Philip Riley catch it? No.
Short hops it.
Yep. Andre Humphrey with good coverage on Riley.
You know, right now, Cannell is throwing off balance. He's short arming everything.
Well, he's been under pressure in the second half and throwing off balance, perhaps because of that pressure. And there is the short hop.
Yeah, no question about that one. He got it on the hop. Good cover up, though. Made it look like a catch.
Cannell 10 of 22 for 116 yards and 1 TD today.
Boy, when's the last time he was under 50%?
Second and 10 now, and they give it to Rock Preston. Can't get outside. Leamon Evans with a hit. A gain of about 6 on the play, but boy, what a stop by Evans.
Yeah, Evans is saying, come on, bring it out here. I'll hit you high and take you on. Just watch him now. They're going to take it around the right side of your screen and watch 16 come and hit him high. Always in the open field, you want to go up high. You don't want to fool around with the legs. You want to be sure with the tackle.
Evans had migraines last year and had a recurrence of those in August practice, but playing well now. Cannell to the air for Andre Cooper, who makes the catch. Down to the 12-yard line. Andre Cooper with a fine catch and a nice move after it.
Andy Ford had excellent coverage and never located the football. Andre Cooper out of Jacksonville. Watch number 43, Ford. Great coverage here, but he doesn't locate the ball. And Cooper gets away with a little shove there as well. But Cooper kept the ball in his focus. Made the catch. That's a good play. Boy, Coop, 6'2", 194. Now he's got some cramps or something's bothering him.
He's walking off the field, and 2 men down for Clemson. Anthony Simmons and Leamon Evans. Both down on the field.
Well, I thought Andy Ford had great coverage on that. Couldn't locate the ball in time. When he finally looked back, it was too late. Cooper had it. Take another look at this. Watch the end of the play. First of all, see if Coop pushes off. No, this is the end of the play after the catch, and our own guys ran into him.
Yep. Simmons and Evans.
A couple guys just knocking heads there. That was Andre Carter, 28, to come. Watch 28 come flying in here as well. Boom, right there. God, Evans took the brunt of that.
And now Anthony Simmons is up. Evans, to the right of your screen, still down on the field.
There's some bumping and grinding going on. Watch these two guys. Watch McLean, who's only 5'10", Cooper, who's 6'3". Look, hands already pushing each other. They're going back and forth, bumping and grinding, contact. He never looks back either. McLean doesn't. Sometimes they'll call you on that. You've got to locate the ball, or they will call you for pass interference. But that's good defense again.
You know, and a good throw, too. I mean, that was in the only spot that his receiver could get it, and the coverage is a little too much for Cooper to make the catch.
All of a sudden, it becomes a big third down play.
Pooh Bear and Warrick Dunn out of the eye. Danny Cannell to throw. Cooper to the end zone, touchdown.
Boy, was that perfect.
You can't throw it any better than that.
That time, there's no question he had Andy Ford beaten badly. Watch this. These two guys are locked on right here. The quick out. Boom. There's the separation. Ford can never catch up, and this ball is perfectly thrown to the outside. Touchdown, Seminoles.
You know, Tim, that's a lot of field to try to cover on that side. And you're going one-on-one with a guy like Andre Cooper.
What amazed me is Ford played him inside out, tried to force him to the outside, and lost his footing.
Bentley for the extra point, and it is good. So Florida State continues to roll on offense, 38-20 here in the fourth.
We gave it a CFC-free air conditioning refrigerant that won't deplete the ozone because we wanted to be thoughtful about the environment. But we also gave it a finish so durable, it's warranted against rust through corrosion for 6 years or 100,000 miles. Because sometimes the environment doesn't return the favor. It's the new Cavalier. It's all you need. And it's genuine Chevrolet.
If you're wondering what's cooking at Chili's, well, we're cooking up a table of fun. We've got a menu that'll bring you to Chili's. A little something for everyone. We've got it flamed, grilled, barbecue, so make it a date. And if you're sweet tooth sleeping, we can shake it awake. Let your appetite bring you to Chili's. 'Cause we're cooking up a table of fun.
Chili's like no place else.
No trendy health club. No $60 shorts. No excuses. Speedstick's no-nonsense formula gives you 110% protection. Like you, it never quits.
The newest way you can cure athlete's foot is the way doctors cure it. With the same ingredient they've prescribed millions of times. It's new prescription strength Desonex. Nothing cures athlete's foot better. New prescription strength Desonex with a doctor's cure.
Longtime rivals meet in a national showdown. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame battle the Purdue Boilermakers. It's part of a special ABC college football doubleheader next.
Welcome back to Death Valley. Terry Gannon, Tim Brandt, John Spagnola. And after the last touchdown, Tommy West, the head coach for Clemson, livid on the field. He wanted a celebration call against Andre Cooper. He just saw it go against his team on the previous series.
This was a pretty close ball game when he got that called on him. And put him back in a hole. They called them for excess celebration in the end zone. He wanted the same after Cooper's touchdown for Florida State. The crowd loves it, too. They love Tommy West to go out on the field like that, showing some emotion. They started chanting Tommy. He's still out there fighting. He's down 38-20, and he's out there just fighting his guts out for the kids.
12:30 left in this one. At the 10. Back out across the 30. Wyatt still on his feet. And what a return to the 44. We've seen it all day long. 37-yard return for Antoine Wyatt. Good field position for the Tigers. And don't forget, if time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report featuring scores and highlights from across the country. Tommy West, in his second full season here at Clemson, he came on, led them to a Peach Bowl win a couple of years ago.
He's got a young team, Terry, 54 guys, freshmen and sophomores, and you know, his team has already gone over 280 yards against the Seminoles. Last team to go over 300 was Miami.
Elon Green, the young quarterback, to the air. This ball's tipped, and it's picked off at the 49-yard line of Florida State.
Oh, my.
Henry Crockett with the pick, and that's the third time we've seen a ball batted up into the air, and the second interception of the day.
That's not only a game killer, it's a crowd killer, and Tommy West now will go back to be the teacher. Just talk to him. That's 3 turnovers against his young club. They have killed themselves today. You cannot make mistakes against the #1 team in the nation and survive. Watch this, and part of the problem is he's looking left the whole time, and he just doesn't hide anything. Once it's tipped, boy, there's no question what's going to happen to it. Watch this. He looks left. Still looking at him. There's the tip.
Looked like Bernard Wilson on the tip.
And after Wilson got it, Crockett had an easy pick.
Florida State takes over, and now on the reverse. Back at the 40, Brian Dawkins. He read it the entire way. Tim, they had a big gain on it early in the game. This time, Dawkins right there.
When you've got safety, control, and contain, his job is just to stay home. Now watch this. He comes on the outside. There he is. He just parks himself there, stays outside, force everything back in, and make the tackle.
Brian Dawkins, a senior from Jacksonville, Florida. He's had big games against Florida State the last couple of years. So 2nd and 19. Cannell to the air. Got a man at midfield. Messam still on his feet, now down. And the ball on the ground, but he was down first.
See what Clemson's trying to do now. They're tackling the football as much as the guy. They were trying to keep him up and take the football away. Which is good philosophy defensively. You've got to gamble, guess, and really take chances and hope for some breaks here.
11.5 minutes and counting here, so yeah, you need a break or two. A gain of about 5, 2nd and 14. Cannell from the shotgun again. He's been there a lot today. Here's Warrick Dunn for a first down and much more.
See ya.
A foot race, you're not going to catch him. Dunn to the end zone. 55 yards.
Yeah, I think fatigue was a factor there on defense. I mean, that's just a basic draw.
And the celebration continuing after the end zone, and Clemson fans again wanted a flag. But what a run by Warrick Dunn.
Now, the fans better be careful here. They're throwing things at the official down in the corner. They booed again. They wanted a celebration call. They keep throwing things at that official. It's going to get 15 yards.
Bentley good again. He's done it often today. 45-20. Florida State on top.
The cutback. Boom. Now watch this. You want to see a move? Watch what he does right there. That's Warrick Dunn. He now has 11 carries, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he has put himself right smack in the middle of the Heisman Trophy picture.
And, Tim, when you play Florida State, you have to stop the big plays. Warrick Dunn, 4 runs of 25 yards or more. That's the way they beat Wyatt. And out of the end zone, they'll bring it out to the 20. And let's go to New York, check in with John Saunders, who I think has some news about a former Florida State defensive back. John?
Yeah, Terry, have you heard of him? Deion Sanders. He is now officially a Dallas Cowboy. Jerry Jones made the announcement just a short time ago.
About 12:30 last night, had completed all of the physical examinations that would be required of a transaction of this magnitude. And Deion Sanders signed the contract, and he's now a Dallas Cowboy.
Terry, 5 years, $30 million, and $12 million to sign. Back to you.
Not unlike John Saunders' contract with ABC Sports. Comes in.
Of course, they had to restructure all the other contracts that make John available.
We all make sacrifices. That's right.
And that's what they did with the Dallas Cowboys. Troy Aikman restructured his. I know Emmett made some adjustments to his, and that really helps. All those guys want a ring, another ring, and by restructuring their contracts to allow the money to free up for Deion, that's huge.
So the speculation in. Pitch to Big E. He gets to the 21 and into the sideline fans. And the fans in the stands want a penalty flag. That's why Texas Tech still on top of Penn State. 23-21 now in the fourth.
Flag finally come down, late hit. Personal foul.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the defense. 15 yards. First down.
Fans got their wish.
You know, Jerry Claiborne used to always tell us at Maryland, even if you lose a game, you play hard. Watch what that team does that you lost to the next week. If you beat them up pretty good, they may not play, may not win, and you've got to handle it. I'll tell you something. A lot of guys limping off from Florida State. This has been a very physical, very exhausting game. Here's the late hit.
No, he is well out of bounds.
Yeah, I think the flag should have been thrown on the state trooper.
That was a late hit on the trooper as well, yeah. Green to throw, and batted down again. William Pittman in there with a pressure. 6'3", 265.
By Julian Pittman.
Yeah, more importantly, Pittman's got that big old wingspan that's about sideline to sideline himself.
Well, Bobby Bowden said it wouldn't be easy. Certainly not as easy as last week's game in Orlando against Duke. And it has not been, but the offense has made big plays when they've had to. Green throws, and this one's batted down. Henry Crockett, who's had a big day on defense for Florida State.
You know, when you get that many passes touched, you're doing something incorrectly. Now, the coaches will have to come back. I'm sure Tommy West will. So will Clyde Christensen. He is throwing right into defenders. Now watch this. Crockett's coming and shows himself right in front. Now watch this. 45. Boom. He throws right at him. You have to find the alley, the channel to throw to, and he's not doing that. But that's because he's young and inexperienced. That'll come. That's a feel that a quarterback has to develop.
Third and long. In fact, about 10. Green up top. Wide open is hit, and he overthrew it. I mean, somebody blew a coverage because there was no one within 10 or 15 yards of him. Capers maybe the closest man.
Tommy West calls Green right over and starts talking to him again. What he did well on the touchdown pass earlier was just put it up there and let him catch it. Here, the adrenaline flow, he throws a rocket out there, and he has to lay out.
It's not a white jersey.
No, see, Hinton, all he needed to do was just get a little fly ball out there that he could actually fair catch, and still he would have scored.
McAnally to punt once again. Good kick. Priester watches it bounce inside the 10. No chance now. This will roll dead at the 4-yard line. A 60-yard punt by Chris McAnally. That's Florida State up inside the 5.
A 60-yard punt.
These students on in the hill today. Getting a good view right now, though, because the Seminoles backed up by the 60-yard punt of McNally. Starting at their own 4 to the ground. Here's Brock Preston to the outside. And wrapped up at the 7-yard line. Antoine Edwards got a piece of one of his ankles.
I haven't seen Cannell go under center very much this ball game. But he did that time, and I assume we may see some more of that as they try to milk the clock now under 10 minutes to play.
They've been so impressive. John and I had them last week against Duke. And this week, on a day when Clemson, I think, played pretty well. Florida State, just not able to be stopped on offense. You look at this team, and after this play, I want to ask you any parts of their game that you worry about. Here's Preston, a fake reverse, stopped at the 11-yard line.
No, they're solid top to bottom. Clemson came in, Terry, so confident in this game, especially after rolling over Western Carolina last week, 55-9. But we talked about this. I mean, going against Western Carolina and then coming up against Florida State, that's like playing slow pitch and then going up against Nolan Ryan. Yeah. It just doesn't work. Right now, there is no question that Florida State is by far so advanced in the Atlantic Coast Conference, talent-wise, depth-wise, speed-wise, that right now everybody's got to catch up and make some giant steps or it'll continue to be a joke. Right now, it's a joke. 25 consecutive wins. They're about to get their 26th, and they aren't even threatened very often.
Average margin of victory, 31 points plus.
But I really think the rest of the league will catch up. I believe what I said earlier, that Florida State's good for the conference is good for FSU.
And let's go very quickly to John Saunders in New York. John?
All right, Terry, thanks a lot. East Carolina had trailed 21-0 to Syracuse, but they come all the way back. Marcus Crandall, 14 yards to Jarris McPhail to make it a 27-24 lead. Crandall's 4th touchdown pass of the game. Maryland, meanwhile, trying to go 2-0. North Carolina lost to Syracuse last week. They're down 32-18. Terry.
On Carolina. North Carolina having a tough start to this year. A lot of people expected good things from the heels. This is a punt driving Antoine Wyatt back. And now so do the Florida State defenders down in his own 43-yard line. Back in a moment.
After a 45-yard punt, Antoine Wyatt returns the ball.
On the sidelines, 21-21, time running out in the 4th quarter. Florida State and Clemson. A look at Danny Ford on the sidelines. Nervous moments as well. The famous punt Rooski. Leroy Butler picks it up, takes it all the way down to the 1-yard line. A play that certainly will be remembered in Florida State history and remembered as well in Clemson history, although the fans would rather not see it. The winning field goal, Florida State with the win, 24-21, the old bag of tricks from Bobby Bowden.
Yeah, he certainly has them. And in close ball games, I'll guarantee you'll see one or two, whether it's a bum Rooski, punt Rooski, or swinging gate. He has them.
Well, the funnel fog and deflate is not working the second half.
No, it really hasn't. I'll tell you one person that is deflated is, and we talked about at the top of the telecast, the pressure on Green, the quarterback. I mean, he's just a young kid, Elon Green, and we said a lot of the pressure would fall on him, and he really has struggled today. 8 for 21, 107 yards, 1 touchdown, but 2 interceptions and 4 balls tipped.
Yeah, really struggled to get the ball over that defensive line, and now you pointed out when we ran back the one play, I mean, much of it was just not picking an alley to throw it through.
That's youth, that's inexperience.
2nd down and 4 for the Tigers right at midfield. 7-18 and running. Lamont Pegues ahead for maybe a yard. That's about it. This is the Florida State team. We saw a number of people on IV in the second half on the sidelines, but they've gotten a second win. And don't forget Notre Dame and Purdue coming up next. The Irish on the road at West Lafayette against a solid Purdue club. And Lou Holtz trying to bounce back all week long. So many people doing stories on the Irish and what's happened to them. 2-5-1 in their last 8 games. And a chance this afternoon right here on ABC to bounce back a little bit.
Well, you think that game is not big for Lou Holtz? He'll start feeling the heat, too. That's got to be the most exposed job in the country, being the head coach at Notre Dame. And if you start to slide like they are right now, a lot of that will come focus firmly on him.
Well, it will. There's no way to get around that. And as much as he has been liked and maybe loved at Notre Dame throughout the years in the national championship, I mean, Eric Parseghian, a guy who, you know, at the end, in all the success he had, I mean, it is a job in which you're under the microscope 24 hours a day.
And I'll be honest, Lou Holtz doesn't handle the pressure all that well. I remember at Arkansas, and I remember here at Notre Dame. You start to put the heat on him a little bit, he gets feisty. A lot of times won't talk to you.
4th and 2. McGee's to the outside. He's got the first down. I wonder if that's happened to Tim Brown.
And that hurts my feelings.
McGee's with the first down as Tommy West goes for it on 4th down. And the drive continues. And the coach is a little bit upset. I think he enters on the sideline. I think he's overheated.
Well, a couple of outstanding games today by a lot of players, but especially Warrick Dunn, running back for Florida State. And I'll tell you something, Emory Smith of Clemson was outstanding.
Absolutely.
Had a huge game today.
Had a big game and some long runs. Smith, 95 yards and 7 carries on the day. Set up a couple of scores. Green tucks and runs. Tries to get away and close to a first down. Gained about 9. And we'll see if they have to measure.
There you go, Nalon. See, he learned that time. There was a guy in his face, gave him a little bump, and went under it.
Well, every time they've come off the field, Tommy West has had a little talk with Nalon Green, especially in series in which they did not move the football.
Constant teaching.
And Tim, I really think as much teaching as you do in practice, I think coaches do it as much or more during games.
The good ones do. You're right.
There's nothing like learning in game situations, whether it is on the sidelines for coaches or for your own experience. Here's McGee knocked down in the backfield. And Howard, who's also had a big day for Florida State.
You know, Tommy West, you're talking about him being a teacher during the ball game. Tommy West came to Clemson, and he had the philosophy of a home builder. And he said quality construction doesn't happen overnight. You have to build the foundation, and you'll go through some problems in the construction before you have the house built. And once you do, if it's solid, it stays up for many, many years. And that's what he's doing here. He's building with that philosophy here at Clemson, and he's hoping the fans will be patient. To this point, they have been.
Well, let's be honest, too, with his predecessor, Ken Hatfield, a guy who came in following Danny Ford. And, you know, that's a tough guy to follow here in Clemson. Danny Ford was a beloved figure here. Pegues with a big run. Lamont Pegues down to the 18-yard line. Shevin Smith helped knock him out of bounds. A gain of 18 to Lamont, who was questionable before today began.
Boy, sure was. He had a pulled muscle, sprained ankle, bad knee. But Thursday we watched him in practice. We didn't even expect him to play. He ran like the wind, just like here. He sees there's no containment, so he turns it up. Boy, once he gets outside, now watch, he'll square up the shoulders and try to cut back and say, whoops. That's nice. Nicely done.
So first down inside the 20 at the 17-yard line. Green to the shotgun now. 4 receivers. To the air, Marcus Hinton, and where's the flag? Gotta be a flag. Yeah, there you go. Marlon Green, number 41, hit Hinton, and the ball not there yet.
Yeah, there's no question about that, and that was a very nice touch that time by Green. Green's throwing into double coverage, but he does see his guy can split the difference. Now watch, he puts it up where he thinks his guy can get it. No question about the contact by Green. Marlon Green, 41. He makes the contact before the ball gets there right there. Boom.
Never saw the ball.
Okay, now that's the 15-yard rule, which will take him down all the way inside the 3.
And it looks like Florida State wants to talk it over right now. As Clemson. So it'll be first and goal just outside the 2. And remember, folks, Clemson had not scored on Florida State in the last two meetings. They were shut out 74-0. So 20 on the board here and looking for 26. Emery Smith stopped into the end zone. He bounces right off a defender, and a look at the man we just talked about, the power in the legs of Emery Smith.
And goes over 100 yards for the day, plus he gets the touchdown he's worked so hard to get all afternoon. Came close to breaking it twice, finally bounces into the end zone here. Huge play for Emery Smith. Boy, Emmett's got to be proud of his little brother, but I don't think you can call him his little brother anymore. He's so much bigger than Emmett.
Younger brother, to be more accurate, yeah.
He may join him in the National Football League, though.
6 feet, 245 pounds, and a junior out of Pensacola. And this one is blocked. Survey has it blocked. And no good. And let's go for a moment to New York. John, what do you have?
Well, Terry, Texas Tech leading 23-21 with 4 seconds left. Brent Conway attempting a 39-yard field goal, and he just sneaks it in. 24-23. And remember, Texas Tech missed a point after in this game. Terry.
Wow. John, what a game. The field goal at the end, Tim. And what a young season it has been already. Excitement in college football.
Take another look at one of the highlights for the Tigers here this afternoon. Head-to-head, and Smith bounces outside. Here's a guy that's got tremendous power and strength, but he also has a low center of gravity. Kept his balance that time.
Quarterback was sacked 4 times in the loss to Northwestern. Mike Allstott went over 100 yards in the victory against West Virginia. It should be a good one. Coming up following your game. Terry.
I'm just going to suck it in, you know. Just absorb it.
Pooh Bear Williams across the 30 fighting for the first down.
I want to go back to what I said earlier. I think Bobby was right last week, and I think he's right this week. And you got guys out there that are playing and that want to play. He played some 60 guys against Duke.
67 players out of the 75 he had available, yeah.
If you're on defense, I don't ever want to hear you say, hey, they're running a score up on us. You're supposed to stop them. That's your job to stop them regardless of who's in the game.
Well, and Fred Goldsmith, the coach from Duke, and some of the writers around the area had some thoughts about that, and maybe perhaps that Bobby was running up the score. But not only your point, Tim, but also the fact that the reality is in college football today is that the polls do work that way. You know, Nebraska scores all the points that they did on Thursday night last week, and to stay number one, you know, perhaps Florida State needed to score 7.
Well, Terry, when you play that many guys, you play more than 60 players in a game, you can't ask them to take a knee. These guys went through 2-a-days. They went through all the pain and suffering. They want to play, and they want to perform well, and there's still a lot of competition for jobs.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, you made the point earlier that you thought it would happen.
You know, a couple years ago, you had Virginia #1, and you had Georgia Tech beat them up there and won the national championship. Clemson's won a couple of national championships, and they've had 2 down years. It's taken longer than I thought. Maryland now just trying to come back. They've had some really down years after Jerry Claiborne and Bobby Ross. But, you know, it's a conference that I really do think will rise to the level of Florida State.
Ron Preston on the carry, gaining 5 yards. Don't forget the Irish and the Boilermakers coming up next from West Lafayette, Indiana. That follows the conclusion of our game here at Death Valley. Let's go on the road after playing in Orlando last week at a neutral site, and they get their second victory in the ACC this year, second overall. Pete Feaster looking for room and wrapped up at the 46-yard line.
#1 in the nation, and today Florida State played like it.
Absolutely. On both sides of the football in Clemson. They've turned the corner, I believe, here in Death Valley. This is a team that certainly will make some noise this year in the Atlantic Coast Conference and down the road for head coach Tommy West. But Bobby Bowden with his 251st victory. Chatting with Tommy West after the end of this one. Coming up next, the Irish and the Boilermakers. The final here, 45-26 Florida State. For John Spagnola and Tim Brand, I'm Terry Gannon.
Only problem, Florida State and Warrick Dunn did more. 41-yard run that would set up a Denny Cannell second-half touchdown pass. Elon Green, the quarterback for Clemson, came in with the highest QB rating in college football. On the play fake, Tony Horn wide open. The Florida State defense did give up over 400 yards to Duke, has given up a lot of points today, but not nearly enough to be a factor because of Dunn in the set. Look at him go through tacklers to the end zone. Warrick Dunn pushing 200 yards. He's at 180 in a couple of scores. Pooh Bear Williams had 2 early scores. That's now a final. Florida State has beaten Clemson by the score of 45-26. At the Big House for the first time.